got 727 acres of aerial cover crops going on the ground this year. We're spreading in cornfields. Harvest window is going to be within 2 to 3 weeks.
Cover crop, of course, is erosion control and nutrient suck up. This farm landed the opportunity to get it done.
Hopefully we get a really nice rye cover crop coming up through that's going to provide our soil health benefits along with erosion and sediment issues, tie up those soil particles so that they're not running off, and also capturing our nutrients so we can gather them for the next crop season as well. If it's successful, we'll expand it out to the other farms other than the 11 that we're trying this year.
The one we have marked there is a little bigger.
Okay.
But just start over here
Okay.
and then work that way.
All right, just throw your initials on there for me.
4 weeks later, got decent growth on most of these fields. Keeping track of things and seeing how they progress. There's orchard grass in here and some bluegrass mixed in with the rye, and they all work well together to bind up those soil particles. Productive soil allows for better crops, which allow for less fertilizer to be used on the crops, more robust microbe activity within the soil, which helps decompose any additional fertilizers or manure that we might have on the field. We're going to keep track of this coming weeks and then in the spring of 2019 to see what kind of real growth we get. Very hopeful that we'll have a good stand here and on other fields that we've done.
How many weeks has it been now since we put this on, Nate?
7 weeks.
7 weeks?
Yep, we're coming up on the 7-week mark. It's been a wet fall for sure, which has been good for at least moisture anyway.
Right, as far as getting the crop to grow, I mean, you can see it's really come on pretty good and strong here. So the moisture certainly has been a real benefit there. As far as getting equipment onto fields, it's been a real issue having that much moisture, which is one of the real barriers to putting on cover crops is the fact that we have wetter falls, and so farmers being able to get out here with their equipment and put on the cover crop really becomes a real issue.
So far, many of these fields look pretty good. So we're out here today monitoring and taking a look.
Looks like we've got a pretty decent amount of coverage here. It's always the concern when we're putting cover crops on just as a broadcast application. Can have trouble being even, and we drill in cover crop seeds, we know that we're getting a nice even coverage over the whole field, and so that's one of the real concerns.
And we choose rye just because of how hardy it really is. It stays through the winter. Springtime it really takes off. We're just seeing the kind of soil till that you can expect from this kind of material here. It's amazing just kind of the strength that these things have and how they bind up soil particles and really bind up the nutrients that we're looking to recover for the next year's crop.
One of the other benefits of rye, and especially the Aroostook rye, is just the tillering that goes on. So when we're putting it down as a seed, each seed creates a plant, but then that plant tillers off, and there's multiple stems that come out of each one of those where that seed fell, and so it fills in that area in between the plants to create a nice cover for the soil. And we're really getting multiple benefits here. The roots that are holding the soil in place, working under the soil surface, but then also on top of the soil surface, this plant canopy that's here helps stop the raindrops from hitting the soil with as much force, which then breaks up the soil particles and causes erosion. And also just having that cover on there prevents soil from moving across the field. Working with the Clarks to protect this land by putting on a cover crop is really beneficial not only for water quality but also for the farmer. We live in an area where there's not a lot of really good farmland, so we need the farmland that's here to be as productive as possible. Getting as much yield off of these acres as possible is very key to their success.